friends from near and far. Thank you so much for coming today to this benefit concert. Thank you to those of you who are tuning in online as well. We welcome you today. And I am so excited to be able to help host and make this concert happen for my wonderful friend, Matthew Akre, who is not only an amazing musician, but a beautiful lover of Jesus Christ. And right at this moment, so we've kind of measured out the distances, so I will take off my mask, and I will actually keep my mask off during the performance, because I won't be singing any opera, I promise you. You can thank me later. And Matthew will have his mask off also. But other than us two, please do keep your masks on. Please do socially distance from anyone that you're not in a quarantine with. And we are just so excited. This is probably, goodness, I can count on like 3 fingers how many in-person performances I've had in the last calendar year. And this one gives me a lot of special joy because it is for a cause that is close to my heart and that I really believe in. So Matthew is going to receive some intense training for missions with YWAM, which is Youth with a Mission. Actually, our very own Pastor James went for 6 months to Africa when he was a young preacher. And was able to do YWAM as well. So we have a special connection that way. But Youth with a Mission will train Matthew and his cohort to be equipped to evangelize, and then they will be going out to do some amazing mission work in some pretty remote areas of the world to spread the gospel. And this particular benefit concert, everything that you are donating today will go towards supporting him and his overseas mission. So I hope that you are generous as the Lord leads you to be, and enjoy the program that we've prepared for you. We have a good mix of classical pieces for your enjoyment, and also Matthew's testimony, which I really look forward to having him share with you. So, but before I actually bring Matthew to the stage, I'm going to just warm up the crowd with a hymn. And if you know it, you feel free to hum along. We'll be happy to have you hum along. But this is just to kind of, we want this concert to glorify God first and foremost. And so we really want to dedicate the first offering of this concert to him and to his glory by having it be a hymn of worship. I hope that you can worship along in your hearts as we prepare our hearts for this concert. Thanks. Thank you so much. And without further ado, I will stop tiptoeing and welcome my tall partner to the stage, Matthew Akre.
Thank you. And wasn't that just amazing? I was just sitting over there, just basking in the presence of God. And I hope you were too. Thank you so much, Jinshil. That was wonderful. And thank you for that warm welcome. Hello, everybody. My name is Matthew Akre. And as Jinshil said, I'm raising some money to go on a YWAM mission. And I'm actually leaving in 2 days. So it's sort of a last minute recital that Jinshil was just so kind to put together and invite me to come play and just offer all of this wonderful worship for the Lord. So thank you for joining us. Today I'm going to be performing with Jinshil 3 different pieces, the first of which is a sort of Spanish-inspired piece by Fritz Kreisler. It's called La Gitana, and this piece I really have a heart for because it just really reminds me of sort of the rebellious child that I was, if you will, and it just sort of evokes that sense of just sort of tenacity and fervor that I was living life with before I met Jesus, and how he's really transformed that passion into love for his amazing creation. The second piece I'm going to play with Jinshil is the Beethoven Sonata for Violin and Piano, number 4, Opus 23. And each of the movements of this piece is just really evocative of different areas of my walk with the Lord. The first movement is sort of this, I would say, it introduces a few different themes. The first one is very passionate, and then we get this trickster energy. And I kind of relate that to the enemy, how he wants to come in and trick us with different ploys. I was very misled by the enemy in my early life, and I'll share that in my testimony later. But then we get to the second movement where Jinshil and I have this wonderful conversation almost as if between, a child and his true father. And there's just a lot of intermingling conversations that go back and forth. And then finally, we get to the third movement that's just very passionate, and it's sort of a run with ferocity towards the Lord, just this sprint towards Jesus. And that's kind of how I felt as I was moving into relationship with the Lord. And then finally, we're going to perform a piece called Adoration. And this is the first violin solo that I ever learned with a private teacher, so it's very near and dear to my heart. I also wanted to just mention that one of my favorite people is in the room right now, Rhonda Marsh. She was also my violin professor in high school, and she has guided me in a lot of ways in knowing the Lord as well. So I hope that you all enjoy our concert, and just let those images sort of run through your mind of your own walk with the Lord and how this music might relate to you in that way. Thank you. Thank you so much. So I just want to share a little bit about what that piece like really means. As you heard, there's a lot of ferocity, and La Gitana means the gypsy. So it has this air of a gypsy, sort of just walking through life, just feeling whatever pleases them. And that's kind of how I lived my life for a long time. So about 6 months ago, I was basically smoking marijuana. I was drinking a lot. I was partying, living a very hedonistic lifestyle. I was also identifying as a woman named Venus and thought that I was transgender, that I was homosexual. I had a lot of confusion about my identity. And that was from a lot of experiences that I had that led me to that dark place. But I realized at that time in my life that I was just not happy with who I was. I wasn't happy with how my life was going, because it seemed like every little thing that I tried to do, I would reach some level of success, but then the foundation that I was building my life on was so weak and full of lies. So everything that I tried to build would just come crashing down. And I just never felt really fulfilled in my life. Then I did meet a friend of mine. She plays the violin too. Her name is Ellie Marshall, and she has been doing YWAM for about 3 years now. She is also leading a school of evangelism and missions right now in Yosemite National Park. That's where one of the bases of YWAM is located. And she had just really touched me and shared her testimony in such a way that really opened my heart to the idea of knowing Jesus. And her story is just amazing. And I hope that someday maybe we could bring her here and do a recital. That would be fun too. But she really shared how the Lord transformed her heart and just led her into so much abundance and healing for not only herself, but her whole family. And I was just like, I kind of want some of that Jesus in my life. I think I could maybe use that. And so I was just like curious. I wanted to know the Lord, but I had no idea how to walk that path, And so I was working at a place in Tumwater called Mary Jane's House of Glass, and I was selling bongs and pipes and marijuana accessories galore. And I was just, again, like I said, in a very confused place in my life. And that's when all of this started happening. I decided I wanted to pursue a relationship with Jesus. And so one day I just said to the Lord, I said, God, I don't know what you are or who you are really. I just want to have a relationship with you. And I'm ready for you to just wreck me, just defeat me with your love, just completely get rid of anything in my life that is not serving me and that will not serve in our relationship. And so I really feel like he heard me and he heard my cry for help. And so within a few weeks, I was sitting down with my nephew Jace, who's 5 years old, and we were playing a game, and he just says to me, Venus, why are you a girl if you're a boy? And I was like, Jace, that's a good question. And I was like, I don't know how to explain that to a 5-year-old, And so I'm just sitting there like perplexed, like, who am I? How do I explain that to him? And this thought occurred to me, if I can't explain myself to a 5-year-old, how can I be authentic in the world in any sense? And so I just started really opening up to the idea that might not be my true identity, and there might be a different identity that's better. And so I just said, Jesus, I want you to show me the truth. And so that week, he just totally opened my mind to so many different things and helped me to see all the different lies that I was living in. I stopped smoking marijuana. I stopped drinking and partying and being hedonistic. And by the end of that week, I just had this really huge breakthrough moment where I just felt like, I don't think that this is the right person that I want to express myself as. And so I was just driving home from work that day, and I knew that I was going to quit my job at the marijuana shop. It wasn't right for me anymore. I heard the Lord saying, you're done here. It's time to move on. And so on my way home, I said, Lord, what is the truth? Just give me it very clearly. Just tell me what you want me to know. And he just said, Matthew, I want you to know who is Satan and who is Lucifer. You need to find that out. So I got home and I started researching, and I found this amazing Christian article, and I started reading it and learning about the truth about who is the father of lies and who is Satan, and how has he really distorted our world and broken our world that God created. And I had this huge epiphany moment. I'm following the wrong God. He's not my real father. Lucifer is the father of lies, and I don't want that for myself anymore, and I don't want to be Venus, and I don't want to lie to myself anymore. So I went to my room and I just kind of started crying because I was so overwhelmed by all of this change and just this sort of chaos that was erupting in my heart. And I just said to the Lord, I want to know you, and I want to have a relationship with you. I really do. I don't want Lucifer in my life anymore. And as soon as I said that, I heard the enemy come into my head, and he was saying, Matthew, if you give your life to him, you will be so miserable. You will have nothing good in your life. I can give you the whole world. I can give you whatever you want, money, power, anything you want, it could be yours. If you just follow me and let me be your father. And you know what I said? I said, Lucifer, you are not my father. You are the father of lies, and I am not afraid of you, and you have no power over me. And he didn't like that very much. So I started feeling a huge wave of terror come into my heart, and I was being spiritually attacked from every side, and I was just hearing all of these voices screaming lies in my head. And I just was so afraid. I just said, Jesus, what do I do? And I heard him say, don't believe him. Don't believe him for a second. I'm your true father. And I said, Lord, I want you so badly. Please forgive me. Please save me from the enemy. Please tear these chains off of me right now and just break me out of these bonds and give me whatever that you have to give me. I need peace in my heart right now. And I just felt him say, Matthew, I love you. You're my son. And he has no power over you. You don't have to change your body. You don't have to change your name. You don't have to change anything about you because I created you and I love you and you're my son. And I said, I just was so overwhelmed. I said, Jesus, you are the truth. There is no one else for me. And that night I just went to bed having so much peace in my heart. I woke up the next morning and the first thing I heard was, go on a walk. So I said, okay, Lord, we're going on a walk. And so I just started walking down the street, and I got to this place I'd never been to before in my neighborhood, and I said, maybe I should go down this street. So I walked down the street, and I turned to my right, and there to my right was Harbor City Church. And I said, okay, Jesus, we're going to church. All right, let's do this. So I walked into the church and they were like, welcome, welcome. Are you new here? And I'm like, very much so. Yes, the Lord led me here today. And they were like, wow, that's amazing. Where do you want to sit? And I was like, right up in the front with Jesus. And they said, okay. So I walked in there, and I really did say that word for word, I promise you. They sat me down all alone in my own little chair, and I was kind of thinking like, do they think I have COVID? Do I smell bad? Like, what's wrong with me? Why am I all alone? And I just thought it was kind of silly. But then as soon as they started worshiping and singing praises to the Lord, I just felt the presence of God come over me so strongly. I got totally wrecked by the Holy Spirit. I was just bawling my eyes out. And honestly, like, the floor was just covered with tears and like snot dripping out of my nose by the end of it. This lady came up to me and she's like, are you okay? And I'm like, She's like, can I pray for you? And I'm like, please. So she's just holding me and I'm like, I don't understand. How can he love me this much? And she just said, it's not for us to understand. We don't have to understand it. We just have to accept it and just receive that he loves us so much. And so I just was so wrecked. And by the end of that sermon, I just had this feeling like I was fully cleansed in my heart. I felt so washed by the Holy Spirit. And the pastor said, if there's anybody in here who wants to give your life to Jesus today, raise your hand and say, that's me. And he said, 1, 2, 3. And I was like, that's me. That is so me. And I was just like running up to the front, like, I want to give my life to Jesus right now. They were like, okay then, And so they prayed with me, and I gave my life to the Lord, and I was just so thankful. And I was just like, how can I serve him? How can I be a steward? How can I serve the church? What do I need to do? Like, do I need to get baptized? Like, what does this look like? And they were just like, wow, you are ready for this. And so I just got signed up for baptism. And ever since then, the Lord has just been so faithful, and he's just been showing me his heart. And he led me to the idea of wanting to go on a mission trip. So I just was like, okay, Lord, let's do it. And he put YWAM into my heart. And then a few weeks later, I said to the Lord, hey, if I'm going on a mission trip, I'm going to need a violin because I don't have one. And I don't know how that's going to happen. And 3 days after I said that, I said, Lord, just give me whatever you have that I need. 3 days later, I got the money that I needed to buy this violin. And a few days later, my mom was like, hey, you should do a recital. And so I was like, hey, Jinshil, you want to do a recital? And she was like, yes, please. So it was just one thing after another, one blessing after another. And now we're here, and we're 2 days away from going on my trip. And we're going to be able to bless so many people through the sharing of my testimony and many other testimonies of the people who are there working with me to share the gospel. So thank you for letting me share my testimony. And I think we're going to get on to the next piece. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
This is the Beethoven, y'all. It's good.
Thank you so much. We are going to take a quick 20-second walk down the hall here to get to our next piece, where we will be featuring the organ. Oh, and it's called Adoration.
Okay, so here comes the fun part where I tiptoe again to try to reach this mic. Thank you for coming. You have blessed all of us here by being here. Matthew has prepared a little snack for you in the back with some little socially distanced, friendly bags of cookies. And there's a jar there that you know what to do. If you have a question about his name, his first name's Matthew. His last name is Akre, A-K-R-E. I'm happy to remind you of that anytime in this next half hour, but feel free to come up and say hi to Matthew afterwards. Thanks for blessing us. You want to say a final word?
I just wanted to thank y'all for letting me use your beautiful church to just share this time with you. And thank you, Jinshil, also, for what a wonderful and amazing piano job here today. Thank you so much. And I also wanted to thank our AV team and camera team. Thank you so much, so much. And I just thank you for giving me this time to share my heart with all of you. And I just hope you have a blessed rest of your day, and we will be chatting soon. Thank you for joining us today.